and trying to see if it would work. Suddenly had a realization. Too cold in the classrooms? Uh, the thermostats are all outside on the veranda corridor. So can you remind me which shloka are we on? 511. Repeat after me. कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या केवलैरिन्द्रियैरपि योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति संगम त्यक्त्वात्मशुद्धये. कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या केवलैर इंद्रियैरपि. All of us, when we are born, wish that we were all born with a user manual. It would have been so convenient. I don't know, when I was born, I was told I didn't come with one. Is the new generation coming with one? No. We never come with a user manual. Many of us in today's world, the way we look at the user manual is we don't look at it. We start figuring it out and we start using it, unless you bought something from IKEA, which has so many parts that you think you better start using that instead of getting confused. Otherwise, for most of the gadgets, you don't need a user manual. But you still retain that user manual, that in case something goes wrong, they have in the back segment of that user manual troubleshooting. If things go bad, how to put it back in order. Many of the kids born in this generation, I think, are born with a really upgraded chip inside. And as young as 6-7 months old, you throw them any gadget at them, whether it is a phone or an iPad or whatever. Surprising thing, they know how to unlock it. 7-8 months old, they know how to unlock it. They know how to navigate through to find that folder or that particular app which has their music or photo or video, and they'll keep playing on and on and on. Is it just my observation, or is it that something happens like that? Right? Wow. More than the manual, my wish list is, if I meet the maker, is Bhagwan, please send the next crop of them with a remote control. Especially when it is in an arguing mode. Mute. Wouldn't that be convenient? And when you are asking your children and they have done something stupid and you're asking them to speak up, then increase the volume. My favorite though, and all this is my wish list, my favorite though is to increase the brightness. You tell them something and it doesn't get into their head, increase the brightness. Dhiyo yona prachodayat. One little toggle on the remote and the dhi is brightened up. In some of these flat screens, big ones, they even have one particular option where they say increase the sharpness. When you say increase the sharpness, so they become very sharp. Ekdam. But what to do? It's only in a wish list. We don't come with any such. Then we tend to figure things out. How many of you are the older kid of the family? Wow. Most of you. My heart goes out to you because you were the experiment. On the foundation of which the rest of the siblings got benefited. You agree with that?
You are taken most care of when you are the first one.
वैसे भी देखा जा सकता है. It can be viewed that way also. And that is hindsight wisdom. Going through, it was always like, you were so strict with me, you're not strict with her, you're not strict with him, the younger ones. And for me, I have a younger one sitting right there, so I have the proof also. It's sometimes good to know the family when they are in. See, as we are born, in the ancient system, the Gurukula system of lifestyle, was introduced to something very specific, very young at age. Because their mode of thinking was something very, very unique. In today's world, we would have probably thrown it aside saying it is a waste of time. Their focus was, if the individual has to interact with the world outside, the individual has to have some amount of mastery, control and accessibility over the instrument that they are using. And what are the instruments that we are using? The body, mind and the intellect. Kayena, Manasa, Buddhya. We have three instruments. Kaya is the body. Manasa, mind, and Buddhi, intellect. Three instruments with which we interact. And the focal point was, it is not stuffing the younger ones with learning how to do things or educate, but first learn how to master these three instruments. That was the first foremost focal point. Recently, there was this mother, a very anxious, pensive mother. She said, Swamiji, my child has come to that point wherein is now forcing us to get her a car, but I'm very, very anxious. This anxiety is killing me. I'm telling her, the mother was saying that she's telling her daughter that once you go into the university, second year of the university, I'll get you a car. Until then, you don't need it. So I told her that, Amma, I would rather, would you rather prefer her make mistakes and learn while she is still with you, the daughter, or would you want her to figure all these things out while she is out there in the university all by herself. Which one would you think is preferable? If for this you are saying you are having an anxiety bout, imagine for that situation, how much more threatening would that situation be? Simple common sense, right? Did I make a good appeal for that kid? That go get a car for that kid. Let her, need not be a fancy one. It's something that the skill is enhanced, improved. Because if I am a parent, I would want my child to go out into the world with the skill and not jump into the world and then figure out that skill. Makes sense? Now, similarly was the logic of the ancient seers, ancient rishis. Their perspective was very, very simple. That before the child can go into the field of learning and exploring, that the child should be given the authority, the child should be given the ability to learn and master these three equipments. Right at the age of 4 or 5, they were introduced to the following. One, they were introduced to a simple yoga technique called Surya Namaskar. It is a part of the daily routine. Surya Namaskara does not mean going out when the sun rises, doing one Namaskara to him and coming. There are a set of 12 different postures and exercises synchronized with inhalation and exhalation. To do it in a set of 12, 24, 36, 42 different sets. They were at least introduced to 12 sets per day. Second was they were initiated with the Gayatri mantra. I know I'm going to regret asking this, but nonetheless I'll ask. Was there any one of you who were initiated into Gayatri mantra? Nobody? Oh, okay. Third grade. But you were initiated. Okay. Okay, 3. How many of you, the 3 of you, do the Sandhya Vandana today also? The rest of you, please do it also. Now, in today's world, these new age techniques of breathing exercises and things that are taught, we don't need to burn our fingers with that. Just doing this Sandhya Vandana, they are supposed to do 3 times, of which 2 are mandatory. The third one was given a choice. Third was optional. Pratara Sandhya, Madhyanika Sandhya, and Sayam Sandhya. So there is a posture, and then you sit in that posture, do certain pranayama, and then do 108 times the Gayatri mantra. It was a package deal. And it included all these techniques wherein it gave the child sharpness of the mind and intellect, and also fine-tuned it with receptivity towards education, learning, and focus. The rishis under their matted hair were not cooked up brains. They had thought through the entire process, and the first and foremost was they were given this skill set. Skill set as the initial beginning method. It was not born out of primitivity, it was not born out of any sense of trying to keep the children under discipline, but it was more of empowering them. Well, back in India in the ashram, we had the new building facility built, and in that facility we had the carpenter employed. And this carpenter, an elderly man, a very skilled fellow. You give him a certain job, he'll think through the job and not just do what you're expecting of him, but enhance it in such a way that he said, now you will not understand. Later, you will see the use of it. And he would enhance it in such a way that 20, 25 years later, we see his vision in it. A very methodical, very thorough fellow. So one day, I mean, every day he would come at about 8:30 and finish his job by 5 o'clock. And as he would come by 8:30, he would remove his huge canvas bag or a foldable thing which he had wrapped up. So he would have a big one, big, like about 3 feet by 4 feet or something. And on that he had stitched pouches. In those pouches, they had various gadgets and instruments. And he would elaborately put them out. I had a nickname for that. I called that whole thing as his Maya Bazaar. That he would take out everything out. 8:30 sharp he would arrive. Till 9 o'clock, he would pull out every instrument there, tighten the bolts, oil them up, sharpen them. Methodically, he would do it. One day I asked him, hey, listen, I see that you spend your time in sharpening all these and keeping them fine-tuned, and you pack them and take them back home. Why don't you, sharpen them at your home and then bring them here? So he had a very sharp answer for it. He said, the first day when I took this job, I came with my sharp instruments. These instruments are getting blunt in your job and they will be sharpened in your time, not in my time. I will not take it as a homework. Then I said, I have been observing you for a while. You tend to look at all your instruments one after the other and sharpen and fine tune every one of them every single day. But most of the days I don't see you use all of them. You may use most of them but not all. Then why do you have to sharpen all other instruments as well? Then his answer was again very beautiful. He said that when I'm in the momentum, the heat of that momentum, heat of that work, and I need eventually some instrument, and I have not thought through whether it would be required or not, I have not kept it sharp, I have not kept it tuned. And then I have to get back, sharpen it and keep it ready and then get back to the work. I have already lost my valuable momentum, which to rebuild is again a pain. The flow gets blocked. But instead, if I spend that time before and keep all the instruments ready and accessible, the flow is more efficient and what comes out is more beautiful. He was just being a carpenter, but being that carpenter and observing, there was so much to learn and apply in our own life. Similarly, we grow up and we come to the age that we are today. Is it okay to say that for most of us, at least 1/3 of our life is done? 1/3? Half? Okay, half. 2/3 done? Okay. But minimum 1/3 at least done. Agreed? Of these instruments, the body has 10 aspects of it. 5 organs of action, 5 organs of perception or knowledge. 1 mind, 1 intellect. Total how many instruments? 12 of them if you spread the Maya Bazaar. 1/3 life already done comfortably. Have we gained mastery over all of these? Are they accessible and in absolute control? I'm not asking your children's, your own. Your pause to look or stare away from me, it only suggests one thing, that it is in your wish list. Not that it has become a possibility, it is in your wish list. Is it a fair enough conclusion? That is the difference between the ancient Gurukula and today's education system. That before we can jump in and do things, the instrument that is being used has to be kept in the most amazing fine-tuned condition. And when we say most fine-tuned condition, what are we talking about? These are non-negotiables. And non-negotiable wherein you're not being asked if you have time or not. Whether you have time or not, these have to be taken care of, period. Like, does anybody even question, daily I have to brush my teeth. Such a bore. Such a pain. Do you ever not brush your teeth? Let me take my question back. I don't want to be shocked. You get the point, right? They're non-negotiables. Do you take shower daily? Yo. The answer should be immediate. Okay, thank you. Do you eat all 3 meals? Oh, that was fast. Minimum 3 meals. Because in between meal, there's a lot that we keep offering. That's a different issue. The minimum 3. They're non-negotiables. Similarly, taking care of this equipment and keeping it fine-tuned and sharp should be a non-negotiable one. Should become an integral part of our life. And keeping them fine-tuned is not even being spiritual. It's got nothing to do with spirituality. Just to keep them sharp and accessible. If somebody is on the baseball court and the lights are all on, the cameras are all taking taking the video, and there's a huge crowd, who is winning these days? Oh, our Chicago Cubs. Ours are what? Rangers. Did they lose? Of course. I don't follow them. I follow NBA. I never follow the baseball thing. Is it called MBL? MLB. Okay, see, I don't even remember. NBA, I remember. So when he comes to that center stage to take on the ball that can be thrown at him, as the ball is being thrown, does he have to run and then open the bag and take out the bat and be ready? To have that out and be ready for the game. See, these equipments that have to be polished and fine-tuned, they are not even like what do you call them? If the basketball is signed by LeBron James, You don't use it. You case it and it's a keepsake, right? If it is signed by Sunil Gavaskar, a bat, you don't. It is supposed to be polished, it is supposed to be cleaned, it is supposed to be in a prime condition, but never to be used. Body, mind, and intellect, is it to be primed up, to be cased and keepsake, or our life does not give us that kind of a luxury that it is all primed up and oiled and suited and booted. We are not Trump. We have life to take care of. Did I get across? गुस्सा आया? Because I was not trying to make a political statement. Whenever I find samples and examples, I use them for my lecture, that's all. We have to face life. There is no not facing life as an option. And when we jump or when we are thrown into a situation where life is unfolding and we are unprepared, it appears like that life and experience is brutal, cold and brutal. And it is my unpreparedness which makes it feel brutal, and not that life by itself is that brutal. And I have to also understand that different job descriptions have different instruments that have to be prepped up and keep ready. Just because I have a sharp axe, I cannot take that to trim somebody's hair or shave somebody's beard. Oh, it is sharp. ठीक है. Each job requires its own instrument prepped up. Because it's your life, you cannot send it offshore for somebody else to live it through. I have to live through my own life with my own instruments, with my own organs of perception action under absolute accessible balance. So what are we talking about here? To be able to spend time with ourselves, wherein at least half an hour to keep the body in a trim shape. How many of us do spend half an hour religiously, meticulously, every single day into some format of exercise? अब उठाने के लिए हाथ मत उठाना. Just because I asked the question, chalo, no, I also do. A half an hour. It's not just on the religious side telling you to do it. Even on the science side, they say that there are these hormones that are released, which actually makes you happier and content. Adrenaline. I'm talking of the endorphins. Is that what it is? That is what I just said. Dopamine. So these are the hormones that are released. And these are the hormones that make you feel happy. But instead of spending that half an hour on doing some exercise, I feel so, the whole life, the whole day, it's been so boring that I don't mind spending that half an hour in taking a glass, putting 3 or 4 ice cubes and pouring a nice cocktail. It has an after effect to it. But this doesn't have an after effect. That after effect is actually a productive after effect. Swamiji, you are barking at the wrong tree. Such people don't come here. Why should I take chances? बोल दूं एक बार. Half an hour on keeping this body in a trim condition. Exercising. I'm not talking about those Schwarzenegger or John Dwayne kind of muscles bulging out from all directions. Just a toned body. Especially we Indians. We love to be the, what do you, couch potatoes? बस बैठ गए तो हिलना नहीं चाहेंगे हम. इट्स लाइक एक बार बैठ गया तो मैं हिलूंगा नहीं. Everything has to be supplied. Does Amazon supply couch delivery? Home delivery करता है आजकल. That I order something and it brings directly to my seat. So I don't even need to move out of there. Oh, I should actually propose this. This could be a brilliant idea. Market strategy. Is there a potential? Good business model, right? There are many who agree also with me. If you implemented royalty, huh? Then the next is to keep that mind uncluttered, spending at least 2 different time frames of 10 minutes each. One, to prep the mind and sharpen it so that it can face the world. And second, after facing the world, to wipe it clean so that the repercussions and the reminiscent is not carried forward. Some form of some puja, japa, do we do? How many of us have that kind of a routine embedded? अच्छा, इसके लिए हाथ एकदम ऊपर उठा. How many? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. हाँ. Too early, too soon. हाँ. Changing the Oh, I gave you that homework already. Oh, sorry, my bad. I have given you that research. So have you made nice observations? How many of you took that project which I gave you last week seriously or sincerely and tried applying it? Okay, let me step back. How many of you remember that I gave you something like that? Yeah, I know who were not there. I may not remember the shloka number, but I remember the people. How many of you did try to look into that observation pattern? One at a time. So those of you who said they have tried, can you explain the question to the rest of them who were not there? I saw that he was explaining it to her. You were right. So can you say it out loud?
From what I remember, it was that we're supposed to observe our own habits and how they contribute to our irritation or unsuccessful interactions with the world.
So I had explained last week that we have these patterns that we develop, and because of our unconscious, constant, repetitive way that we lead life, that these patterns come back to bite us and create a lot of irritation and frustration. So identify at all levels what these are and then prioritize them as to which has to be worked first. What is it that creates most agitation should be worked first, right? So I said make a list, make an observation. Do you remember? You didn't have time, those of you who did not attempt, or was it not convincing enough? Which one is it? Was it not convincing enough? दोनों बहनों को ना बाद में देखूंगा मैं. Because what I'm going to suggest today is on the same line, though not the exactly same. Huh. Uh-huh. Oh, I gave you a structure, Baba. I did not ask you to research on the word Swadhyaya. I gave you the specific topic, that this topic is called Swadhyaya. It is called self-study. Study your own self. Observe your patterns. Write down your patterns as to what these many patterns that you have, which creates highest restlessness or agitation. Prioritize them and then find a solution for it. Solution is not available in Google. Sorry, that is not available in Google. I must have said that solution, if you start observing and prioritizing, the solution is right next to the problem and not anywhere else. That also I said, I remember. तो गूगल क्यों किया भैया?
All I tried to do was lay out the way you might explain, but then I got lost.
We at least spend the time researching. We at least spend the time researching.
Did you employ him as your advocate?
Glass is half full.
See, I don't agree with that concept at all. Glass is neither half full nor half empty. It is an oversized glass. Find the right size glass, glass is always full. That is even better. That you benefit and somebody else around you will also benefit from it if it is overflowing. Okay. Coming back to this shloka. The second thing, the first one, keeping the exercise and keeping that routine, is at the physical level. The second is to do some kind of japa. I'm not talking about chanting out Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama, Hanuman Chalisa, entire Bhagavad Gita whole day long. No, we don't want to do that. 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening. How many of you are blessed enough to have an opportunity to read something positive, constructive, something that nourishes our thinking process on a regular day-to-day basis? Not a once in a while, mood bana to sometimes I read, sometimes I don't, but as a regular practice. Because as much as it is required to feed this body, so too it is required to feed that intellect, nourish that in a right direction. We have a quotient wherein the UN goes around the entire globe branding which country is malnourished, which country is overnourished, which country is obese and various such things. Which if we did, at the intellectual quotient and the emotional quotient, the whole globe will be malnourished because we don't even pay attention to it. So what is it as a comprehensive composite of all these? 30 minutes for exercise, 10 plus 10, 20 minutes for japa or puja. One set of japa, one set of puja. About another 20 minutes of good, thorough reading to nourish our intellect. I am being very liberal. I am not even talking about scriptural study alone. There are a lot of literature there that can really nourish our thinking and conviction process. So total of how many minutes am I talking about? 1 hour 10 minutes. 20 plus 20 plus 30. 70 मिनट तो 1 घंटा 10 मिनट हुआ. I'm not that good at mathematics, but that much I can. The immediate thing that you will all pounce upon is, Swamiji, it's all okay. But then, what will be your clauses? Why should I supply that also? He went straight to the problem and said, say it out loud so that others can hear. Instead of doing this kind of a study, we have time to study the stupid WhatsApp messages. We have time to look at the recent research somebody did. Everybody that owns a smartphone, do you know how many times we turn it on, the screen on and off in a day? A total of average 270 times per day. You post something, keep checking. Nobody liked it. Nobody commented on it. Nobody. Oh, Swamiji, that is not us. Because the younger generation has Snapchat now. They don't even want to look into all this. When you wake up in the morning, see, one of the things that I train in the Yuva Kendra and the YUP courses, one of the things I'll share with you. When you wake up, to freshen up, to brush, to take shower and to clean yourself, total, how much time do you end up spending? Total. In the morning, how much time do you spend? Average. Half an hour. When you woke up late and you have to rush now, all that which you do in half an hour, in how many minutes do you accomplish? Hoping that not taking a shower, not brushing is not an option. You go through all that, and in how many minutes do you accomplish that? 11 minutes. ये 11 minutes का क्या चक्कर है? Don't we accomplish it in less than 10 minutes? Whether you are man or woman and you're getting late, time doesn't distinguish that. तो मुझे क्या फर्क पड़ता है? That doesn't have to, see, if it is an argument between husband and wife, I am not married, I don't know. Okay. What I'm trying to accomplish here is not a question on marriage or unmarried. It is about we spend so much of time unnecessarily in various avenues. So do you know what I teach in the YUP course? A 3-minute shower. 1 minute to soak, 1 minute to soap, 1 minute to rinse, by the fourth minute, get out. And first, their jaws drop, boys and girls. No, it's not possible. So what do you mean? You stand there like every part of the inch of the body, you keep doing this.
We stand and then do water.
I know, that is where wasting the time I'm saying. You don't need to explain what they do. TMI. I do get it. There's so much time that we consciously waste on things. Because these are non-negotiables, one has to find, so much life has gone by fine. At least moving forward. Find time for these and accommodate them in life. The last point would be a home run. If not for your sake, at least for those who look up to you, which happens to be your children, where you don't need to yell at them, where you don't need to be enforcing it. If they see you are already practicing it, it becomes an adopted chore for them automatically. So if not for your sake, at least for the sake of your children, can you find that time and accommodate all these things? That way you also benefit and they also benefit. I in fact tell many times that evening time when you are doing your prayer or japa, make it a family time. Morning everybody has individual time. They have to rush out. At least in the evening, just before the meal. Is it okay to assume, again, because I'm not married, I don't have that data point. Is it okay to assume that in the evening, when you all gather for dinner, that is one meal which happens on a most of days, that all of you are on the table? Is it okay to assume? हाँ कुछ तो बोलो.
Yeah.
Just 10 minutes before that, if you make it as a family time, do that prayer and then sit and have your meal. And make that as a unbeatable process, unchanging process. A whole family benefits. And incorporate this for 21 days and check. 1 month period. 21 days to 1 month period. So much of life becomes seamless and stress reduces. Wherein it is not a logic that it is Sunday, therefore I will not exercise. It is not a logic that, do you ever have a logic saying that, oh, it is Sunday, therefore I will not have my breakfast, lunch, dinner. Oh, it is Sunday, I will not breathe. It doesn't make sense because it is a non-negotiable. It has to continue and there is no break to it. Similarly, should be these patterns incorporated where there is no negotiations, rain or shine. Establish that pattern and develop that discipline. Now, all that we are asking is 3 equipments: body, mind, and intellect. And we'll see that the impact of it as you interact with the world outside at all these 3 levels is not just effective but efficient way of living. And that, when established, also provides a hassle-free longevity for that individual. I don't know how else to impress The minds that you take it with utmost sincerity and start adopting it. Because past is already gone by. I hope you don't keep postponing this. Because Kabir Das ji has already said, Kal kare so, aaj kar. That which you are planning for tomorrow, do it today, now, here, start. As they say, to bring the horse to the pond is what we can do. Is there anything else that I'm missing that can inspire you to follow this? Or kuch karu? Like the kids have, when you come back with all the schedule and maintain that discipline, they get a smiley face. Should we implement that kind of a technique? Swamiji, I have done this whole week a smiley face. Ting.
Yes, the reminder service. Can you get some reminders in the morning?
Do you have a smartphone?
So not this kind of read up how different visual tools have. I've seen that from Shivan does. So anything like that can be started. Idea for an app. Not an app. Just write up on any topics of that.
Usually I post on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter and all those platforms at least one quote per day. That also I'm already doing. How many of you are on my page? Do you see them or not? Huh. Proof that I'm not just faking it. It's already in place. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Huh. It is the same message across all three. It's not three different messages.
So, if you do certain things regularly, like I do the japa regularly, then it happens so that one day you don't do it, you don't feel good. And that's kind of like a dependency on meditation and japa, right? So I don't know if it is good to have to be so dependent on those things.
Can somebody fetch me my shotgun?
I know what you're saying, but
I'm talking about khudkushi here. After talking this long, you ask me that question. I feel like I should have had a heart attack by now. I am not having it.
so my family people complain a lot that I spend more than necessary time.
If you're spending more than necessary, stop. But that at least 10 minutes,
To me, I feel it is necessary.
to continue.
But then I'm saying, like there are days that I can't do
See,
it.
there is this question that people ask that, what if others around me are mocking at it, or I wear the same clothes whether I am playing soccer or going through the airport or going to a movie theater or coming here for pravachan or puja, I wear the same clothes. I get mocked at. And first thing is everybody gives me a very weird look. I've gotten used to it. 25 years. I get mocked at, asked questions. But just because they mock, do I drop the clothes and start? No, it's my conviction and I'll stand by it. Like somebody asked, are you a drag? So I looked at that fellow and I said, his name was something Mike or something. I said, hey Mike, Does it really matter? Now you look fat, you look obese, you look like a pot-bellied fool. But that is my opinion. Do I need to share that with you? You do your job, I'll do mine. What I wear, thankfully I wear something, man. You have no right in that job of yours to comment on mine. I am firm at it. Now, talking about dependency, it is one of those dependencies which is called samskara. Depending on vikara is bad. Depending on samskara is good. Without water, you will be miserable. But is it a good dependency? Of course, yes. Can I do away without water? No, you cannot. Can you do away without coffee or tea? Yes, you can. So everything should not be equated at the same level of dependency, and you get the point. Om Shant Shant Shanti Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. हाँ जी वो जोक था यार श्री कृष्णा